Hello and welcome to Learn, Do, Become Radio. My name is Aaliyah Clausen and I'm one of the team members here at Learn, Do, Become. And here at Learn, Do, Become, we help people who are drowning in the details of life create simple systems so they can do what matters most. And in today's podcast, we're actually featuring the audio of our brand new YouTube video all about 8 principles that guide us through the decluttering process. These principles will help us learn how to navigate the different emotions, the different situations, and the different perspectives that might arise as we are trying to do some of our own decluttering. And right now in our Arise membership, we've been focusing throughout the month of April on decluttering and having a decluttering party in our own lives, whatever that may look like. Just making our physical and digital spaces a little bit better through 10-minute microbursts. So keeping it really simple, but making that progress throughout the month. And it's been really fun. We want to share these 8 principles with you. And we hope that you'll enjoy listening to them. And you can also watch the YouTube video that's linked on our show notes page. And we also have everything written out on the show notes page. So if you'd like to check the video out or the written version out, you can go to learndobecome.com/episode 286 and everything will be right there for you. And we've also linked to all of the related podcast videos, books that we mentioned on the show notes page. So again, you can find all of that at learndobecome.com/episode 286. And we hope you enjoy the podcast.
What holds you back when you think about decluttering your life? I asked members of our Arise community what specifically was holding them back, and here are a few of their responses. I'm going to go ahead and just share. I don't like putting useful items in the landfill, but I don't know the best place to donate. Items that belong to other people bring my decluttering to a screeching halt. Physical problems prevent too much bending over to arrange items. I get stuck wanting to do the right or perfect thing with things. Lack of energy, motivation, and mental bandwidth. Time. I misestimate time, thinking what I'm looking at will take longer than I have. It feels so overwhelming. It gets cluttered as soon as I start the next project. I get stumped with certain things. The emotional things, like my grandparents' dishes and books. Wanting to dedicate too much time to it and then never finding the time to do it. Or in spaces that are completely cluttered, I shut down. I look at it all and think, I just don't even want to look at it. Can you relate to any of those sentiments? Today we're just going to share 8 simple principles that can guide us as we're decluttering. And these aren't the only 8 principles, but they're 8 that I think highlight ways that we can actually move forward when we feel stuck. Principle number 1, focus on your own space and your own things first. I know it's tempting to want to declutter everything that your family members have brought in the house, but that's a sure way to seed discontent and mistrust and really make your family feel incredibly frustrated with you. I've been there. What we do is, in our family, each person has their own space for sleeping, getting ready, things like that. There are some shared spaces in the house that we just keep generally clear, but when I'm decluttering, I'm thinking, my space, my stuff. Principle 2 is that we're going to commit to 2 things. Number 1, we're going to be very, very careful about every decision we make bringing things into our lives in the future. So if we notice we're always decluttering a bunch of really cheap, knick-knacky things, we're going to commit to not bringing those into our lives in the future. Commitment number 2 is that we're going to recycle, donate, and dispose of things as wisely as possible. But here's what I don't want us to do. I don't want us to keep things in our lives because we are protecting a landfill, and so we therefore turn our homes into a quasi-landfill. That's really not helpful because at the end of our lives, it's all going to go into the landfill anyway. And having trash or items and just holding them all around you, it's preventing you from doing the good in the world and being able to have that freedom and flexibility to go bless the world in the ways you're uniquely created to do it. So there's obviously, balance here because I don't want to go throw a bunch of stuff away and I want to repurpose things and I want to be creative and I hold on to a lot and we reuse a lot and we're very careful. But please recognize that your home is for living and things that are dead, that they need to be removed. And just a quick example of using things creatively, I want to come down to my bathroom to show you. So this was our last child's kindergarten lunchbox, and once he got to first grade, it wasn't cool to have a lunchbox anymore. And so I was devastated. I did not want to get rid of this. I wanted to keep it. It was like holding on to his childhood and my children and all that. So what I did is I now use it to store all the things that I need when I travel, like toiletries and stuff like that. So I just keep them in here. And then whenever I travel, I just open this up and I think about how fun it was to have my little kids. And it's been great. So sometimes, yes, if you're not using something, you can repurpose. And I think that's great. The point is that every time you use it, you want it to be something that brings you joy. Principle number 3 is progress, not perfection, and see your decluttering as projects with next actions. The whole goal is to be able to make these incremental steps forward, because as we do that, we'll get to a point where everything's decluttered and then we can just be in maintenance mode. The reason I do recommend having it set up as current projects and next actions is because if you just try to attack your house or office or whatever in the midst of working, taking care of a family, volunteering, living your life, self-care, all of that, you're just going to feel frustrated and you'll just kind of be hacking at branches all the time. But if you set things up, and we have a video explaining exactly how to do this, where you have a project of maybe I'm going to do the kitchen or I'm going to work on the master bedroom, and you're going to break that into little bite-sized next actions, 10-minute microbursts to clear one end table or clear one drawer or something like that. And that's on your current projects list. You're going to come back to it. So see the description for more information on creating the current projects list and on how to organize which rooms you're going to do in which order. Principle number 4 was inspired by Dana White's book, Decluttering at the Speed of Life. She encourages us to declutter and create the life we're living right now, not to save everything that we might need in the future. This is definitely something that I need to take to heart because, for example, I have this one shirt I'm holding on to in case there's a day when the other 30 shirts that I have are all dirty and I have nothing to wear except that one shirt. That is probably never going to happen. And so waiting for that perfect opportunity to show up where you might need that one thing is just going to keep a lot of excess in our lives. So instead, if we focus on the idea that we are going to only keep what we are actually using and that we need for this life, not for the life when we weigh something different or we have different hobbies or do other things, it's going to help us to be able to keep it streamlined and focused. And there can be a little balance here, like I do have dreams of playing some piano music that I'm not playing right now, but I have room for it and I'm just going to keep that music for when I can play in the future. So obviously there's balance there, but let's not keep all the what ifs in our brains thinking, what if I need 15 vegetable peelers all at the same time? Probably won't happen. Principle number 5 is to work wisely. Maybe it's working in microbursts. Maybe it's scheduling time on your calendar and saying this weekend, decluttering, or maybe it's even body doubling where you have another person come work with you to help you make decisions and move things around. The point is that you want to be very thoughtful about how you're doing it so that as you jump in to declutter a spot, instead of getting distracted by all the psychological stuff going on or regrets or any of those other things that may happen, you're just going to focus on 10-minute microburst or, hey, a few hours is going to work with my energy, or yep, having a friend here with me. And that wise work will propel you forward. Number 6 is to photograph sentimental items that you do not use, want, and have room to store. And this gets easier with time. I have a podcast I recorded with Julie Morgenstern who helped me to recognize that keeping an old makeup bag that my mom gave me was not the best way to remember my mom. It was okay for me to let that go and save things that were better memories. Sometimes we inherit a lot of things from loved ones, or we have experiences with friends and we save these sentimental items. We have more videos on things like this, but I just want to emphasize how amazing it is to be able to take a nice photo or a nice little video tour of an item, and then you can go visit that whenever you want. You don't have to save every single thing. Now, sometimes people really want to save sentimental items, and that's great. If you have room for it, if it brings you joy to store it somewhere, awesome. We had one of our community members who goes to a lot of conferences, and she gets these little lanyards with her name on it, and they're decorated and they're memories of the conferences. And she said, well, what do I do with those? Now for me, I just take a photo at the end of the conference and then I recycle the paper or donate or whatever, get that out. For my husband, he likes to save all of them, and he has a little spot in his closet, little hook, and he puts all of them there. And it's kind of out of the way, but it's a place where he can store them. So totally up to you, but if you can just take advantage of the opportunity that we have now to take digital photos so easily and store them by keywords so you can go find them when you need it, it's going to alleviate a lot of that physical pressure that otherwise could be all over your home and office. Principle number 7 is to recognize that the feelings that await you after you declutter are things like peace and joy and having more energy, even though your brain is going to tell you differently. And I want to give a little example. I went into the closet the other day because I know I need to declutter, I don't know, maybe 10 shirts or something like that I have hanging. And every time I think about decluttering them, I think I'm going to feel sad, guilty I spent money on it, frustrated that I didn't wear that more often or didn't turn out the way I thought or whatever. I have all these thoughts that as soon as I declutter, I'm just going to feel terrible. But I know as soon as I actually donate those shirts, I'm going to feel light and peaceful and happy. I know that because this has happened time and time again. So I want you to right now just visualize one pile of stuff that you know you don't use, want, need, or have room for, and you want to get rid of it, but you're like holding on to it for some reason. How do you think you're going to feel once it's donated? If right now your brain is saying, it's gonna be the worst, I'm gonna feel so awful, I want you to just pause and maybe think, well, what if I did take those things and I put them in a little incubation box for a couple weeks? So if I don't think about these things for 2 weeks, they're just going straight to donation, I won't even open it again. You could do something like that. But I want you to recognize that it's going to feel so good. We spoke in our Arise community about this the other day. And I asked them, how do you actually feel when you donate and when those things are gone? And everyone agrees, oh, I feel lighter, I feel happier. I know that it's the right thing when I'm not using them. So, okay, just recognize you're gonna feel great. Principle number 8 is if you get stuck, quickly brainstorm with friends, but go find a solution. I was chatting with my daughter the other day because she had created this cute little craft, and it was done with yarn, kind of like a needlework type thing, but it ran out of the color she needed right at the end. She said, what do I do with this thing? It's been just sitting here on my desk for several weeks. And she had all these other things that she needed to focus on, and it was just kind of there. I know you have a lot of those things where you don't really know what to do with it and you get stuck. This is where having a community, an online group, or like here at Learn to Become, or a good friend, someone you could text a photo to and ask, is great, because as you can come up with different options, then you can choose the one that feels best for you. In this case, my daughter decided just to take a picture of what was unfinished, and then she's not going to worry about keeping it. Now, maybe you might want to say, oh, I would go get a different color yarn, or I would borrow this from a friend, or I would do this, and great, you might have a solution that works better. The point is, we don't want to keep things in limbo. When you have things in limbo, now you just end up with a bunch of decisions that are all around you. And one of the main things that I've found that's helped me to finally have a calm mind is I don't let potential decisions just sit. I at least decide either I'm not going to think about this right now, I'll decide on this in a few months, and I put it somewhere else and I know it's going to come back to me because I have a little calendar reminder or something like that. Or I just usually just make a quick decision and then move forward. It gets easier as we go, but typically the reason why we want to hold on to all of these things, the reason why we have clutter, is because we are compassionate, we care about a lot of things, and there's meaning in our lives and to our possessions. And that's a beautiful thing. But when it starts to overwhelm us and stops us from having that energy that we need in order to be with our people and do our best work and to thrive individually, then it's time to let the clutter go. Whenever I talk about decluttering, I really want to emphasize the why. I want you to wake up excited and go to bed content. I want you to step into this newer life, this exciting life that you've been dreaming about, knowing that clutter doesn't need to hold you back. And here at Learn to Become, we have worked with tens and hundreds of thousands of people over the past decade, helping them go from piles to having clear space. And it's all done according to what they want and what you want. No one's forcing you to get rid of anything. You can keep the things that are important to you. But when you can give space for the things that are important, you're going to feel that lift.
Wasn't that so great? I love all of those decluttering principles and examples so much. And if there's one that stood out to you most, we would love to hear from you on our show notes page in the comment section. Or if you have any additional principles that help you and guide your decluttering process, we'd love to have you share those as well. We always love learning from our community and hearing some of the best practices or best principles that have been most helpful to you. So we hope that you enjoyed this podcast, and if you'd like to check out our Arise Decluttering resources, we have a 60-day free trial of the membership, and we have lots of great fun videos and decluttering invitations in there this month. You can find all the details at learndobecome.com/arise. And if you're brand new to Learn to Become and you'd love to learn more about how we break down projects into smaller next actions and how we can help you stop drowning in piles, whether it's piles of paper or piles of stuff or all of the things combined, we have a free training called How to Finally Stop Drowning in Piles that can be found at learndobecome.com/step. So thanks so much for joining us today on this podcast, and we'll see you next time here at Learn, Do, Become.